Okay, we're going to look at factoring some cubes and also maybe some grouping in this video. This first one is nice and ugly, so it's a good place to start. You can tell it's a cube because you have a b to the third and an a to the third. You might need some help thinking what multiplies 3 times to be 64. Remember, a relatively small number will do it. So 4 times 4 is 16, times another 4 is 64. So I have 4b is what I would need to multiply 3 times to get 64b to the third. Now to get 125, since it ends in 5, I'm suspicious that 5 might work. So 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5 is 125, so a 5a. So that's your first term and your last term. And your signs have to follow the rule SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. Same, opposite, always positive. So the first sign is going to be the same. Now, to get the second parenthesis, I need to just take 2 of the first. So 4b times 4b is 16b squared. I take the first and the last, so that's 20ab. And then I take 2 of the last, so 5a times 5a is 25a squared. I kind of drew my parenthesis too soon there. And my signs are the same, so the plus, the opposite, so a minus, and the one on the end is always positive. Keeping these signs in the middle opposite means if you multiplied it back out, everything would cancel. So that is what you're going to type in. I'll type in this one just to show you. You're literally going to type in every letter, every exponent, exactly like what we have here. So if you have something with a keyboard, it is a lot faster to get these in, but if you want to work them on your phone, that is fine too. Some of you type faster on a phone than I do on a keyboard. That should be your answer. Let's try getting another one that's pretty good. Okay, this one is kind of minimalist, but we'll go through it. Make sure some students get confused when they almost look too easy. So what multiplies 3 times to give me a 1 is a 1. 3 times to give me an n is an n. So then I need 2 of the first, so 1 times 1 is 1. 1 of each, 1 times n is 1n. 2 of the last, n times n is n squared. The signs are SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. So the first sign is a minus here, the second sign is the opposite, and then the last sign is positive. And that's what you would need to type in. This one sitting right here is optional, but everything else has to be there for you to get it correct. Remember, there were some videos with your lesson to help you with these factoring cubes and factoring by grouping, but I figured adding a few more examples wouldn't hurt. On this one, factor by with 4 terms, you're probably going to use grouping. So split it in half, look at what comes out of the first 2 terms, which is an x squared, and that will leave me with an x plus 4 when I divide out my x squared. When I look at the last term, since it starts with a minus, I need to take out a minus 1, and that is an x plus 4. And then when I factor that, I'm going to have my x plus 4. And then I'm also going to be left with a x squared minus 1. Now what we have done is factored correctly, but notice it says factor completely. That means you might have more than one step. So this thing here, the x squared minus 1, will factor again. So for your final answer, you would have your x plus 4. Then you would have a x plus 1 and an x minus 1, because x times x would make that x squared, and plus 1 and a minus 1 would make that minus 1. If that was a square with a plus, you could not factor, but a square with a minus, you can factor like that. Maybe let's try one more example. Same basic idea, split it in half. See what comes out of the first part. All that comes out is an x squared. That leaves me with a 3x plus 1, because x squared divided by x squared is 1, and you do need to write down that 1. Now, since it starts with a minus again, I'm going to take out a minus. So minus 9 is what I can take out this time, and that will give me a 3x plus 1 again. Very similar to the last one, I have a 3x plus 1 and an x squared minus 9. When I basically take out that 3x plus 1, what I have left is the x squared minus 9. When I go to type that in, the 3x plus 1 is finished, but I have a square with a minus again. So that means I could have a x plus 3, because 3 times 3 will make 9, and an x minus 3 to make my negative 9. And that's how you do that problem.